Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
Okay, I'm here. We're gonna be reviewing Season 1, Episode 5 of Percy Jackson, but first I want to respond to these comments. It was a lot. She said a lot. I think it's a she. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a she. And for me, it's just easier to just say what I think out loud than write it down. It's just the way I do things. Whatever. Okay, so this was, I think this was like her first comment where she says, "So sad." Her comments responding to our
banter
reaction. I'll say reaction to Percy Jackson Season 1, Episode 2. Okay, so it says, "So sad. It's a huge world like Game of Thrones based on books. Real mythology, not a Disney show."
It's okay. First correction. It's not the real mythology.
Yeah, it's a dramatization of using property, not even properties, just mythology that's existed. Right?
Okay.
It's not a direct one-to-one reference to fucking Greek mythology. I'm sure that'd be a lot more adult themed than what Disney can get away with, in my opinion.
And half of our problem with it is it's kind of tearing up even the mythology.
I guess I don't know enough to say that. I'm just going off of, do I think it's quality or not? That's all I'm going off of. I have no idea about the mythology itself.
Yeah.
So
I don't like this for the mythology.
Well,
because if you looked at the mythology like equivocal to the Bible in the sense of this is the real mythology, well, this is what we would call. Is her kid listening to this? I don't know a better word for it.
I assume not. I assume.
What's the word? Heretic. This is heretic to
heretical
to mythology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you call the Bible a myth?
No, I'm saying.
It's all get the kids out of the room.
No. What I'm saying, what Disney is doing to the Greek mythology would be, if you looked at it like the Bible, it would be heresy to do what they're doing to Greek mythology.
Okay, I understand that. But once again, it is made for kids, and I think part of her argument is that they can pass on these tales and stories, maybe not the entire, crazy fucking all over the place version of it, but they can get you like a starter kit for these.
I'm just saying it's insulting to the Greek mythology.
It's insulting. Okay,
sure, it's for kids. It's for kids, but it's an insult to the mythology. Like, I don't like it.
Okay, well, her argument is that it's a starter kit, so that kids can get introduced to these types of characters and stuff like that, or even these characters in particular. Okay. I don't know enough, so I'm not going to go there. I don't know if she's right or wrong about that. But, all right. They throw you in this world with no explanation, but it will make sense. Okay, that's her reference to Game of Thrones, where it's like, you don't know what's happening, but then as you keep watching the show, it'll start making more sense. I'm going to disagree with that reference there, because my problems with the Percy Jackson show were things that, like, there is no fixing this later on. Like, it's happening in real time, the problems I'm having. Right? If I'm a novice in regards to Greek mythology, well, guess what? At the very least, I know who Medusa is. At the very least, I know you probably shouldn't kill her within 15 minutes of meeting her. Right? It should be an epic tale thing that happens, which means they're rushing. Right? That's just a notification of rushing, which is bad in any type of storytelling, period. Whether it's for kids, whether it's Game of Thrones, whether it's HBO, whether it's Disney, whether it's you reading a bedtime story. If you skip to the end where the villain gets killed immediately, the kid's going to be disappointed when you're reading bedtime stories. You need to build them up first, right? Give them
Oop,
weight
you just spoiler alert.
as a
In the
spoil.
real mythology, Medusa's the bad guy. Not in this.
She was the bad guy in this. Just
No,
she
she's not.
tricked us.
She's not. She's already gone. She's not the big bad wolf.
Oh,
The real
okay.
mythology
Okay, you mean the
of
big bad guy.
her
Okay.
no of Clash of the Titans, where this is based off of Perseus.
Okay.
The big bad guy is Medusa, which is the real mythology. That's what I was getting at. So this is
Not
heresy
Hades.
to that story.
Not Hades. Wouldn't he be the biggest of the bad guys? And Medusa would be like kind of like a sub boss, but she's still like very
No,
significant.
I'm saying
Or am I tripping? I
of
don't know.
what this story, Percy Jackson, is a spin-off is of Clash of the Titans, which is a story of the Greek mythology about Perseus. And
Okay.
if you want his story, the big bad guy is Medusa. So they've changed that. Medusa's not the big bad guy.
No, she was kind of just like they kind of used her like filler in this show. She's kind of filler. Like right there on their way to LA, they get sidetracked by one of the flying demon things. They end up at Medusa's. Medusa kind of gives a little hints about Percy's mom, right? And then
Yeah.
and then she's
Athena.
no, not Athena, like his mom, like the normal social mom,
Oh, okay.
right? She gives hints about that, and
I thought you
then
meant the girl.
no,
Okay.
Percy, and
Okay.
I guess it's essentially a trick by Medusa to keep them from continuing on their journey. Like, yeah, why are you like these fools are going to turn on you? And she's trying to make Percy paranoid, essentially, and then yada yada yada. They end up killing Medusa, and then she's just gone after that. That's it. Which
All
is
right.
just like a
Let's
adventure
let's
thing.
see what else she wants to say, because I mean she wrote 3 pages worth of stuff in here, so
That's fine. I have no problem with that. It's just
no, I'm saying I don't want to be disrespectful to her in the sense that, like, I'm stuck on that one point of real mythology. This is not real mythology in any sense.
yeah. Well, okay.
So I want to let her explain more of what she was upset with us about.
Well, the rest
Or
of
not
this,
upset, weighing in on.
yeah, the rest of this, I'll kind of like because it's more of a it's my taste and what I would like. Like I don't care if it's for kids. I still want interesting storytelling, which does get brought up later on in one of her comments, where she's essentially saying, like, for me, I need more action. Like, uh, you don't know me if you think I just need more eye candy. Like that's the opposite of my perspective in regards to watching film happen. Now, is that me saying we don't need a Percy Jackson show? Fuck Percy Jackson. Forget my language. Fuck Percy Jackson. We don't need this motherfucker. We don't need Greek mythology in there. Like, no, that's not what I think. I'm all welcoming of all that type of stuff, of different tales and different stories from different eras and the history of it and the mythology of it. That's beautiful. But how it's executed, yeah, I will have problems with if it's like what we saw. But I think we can move on from this comment. It's
I'm
kind of.
I'm seeing this part. I have seen reactors lost on the first episodes of Game of Thrones because they think it doesn't make sense. I thought the first episode was awesome, but it didn't make sense, as in they were putting a story together, and that was cool. We were getting an introduction, so it didn't make sense. Sure. but they were putting it together, and we were giving it its chance. And I loved Game of Thrones until season 7.
True. But yeah, I think the end of episode 1, I think my reaction was like, okay, this is like an action adventure thing happening here. I'm gonna give them I'm gonna give them a chance. I think were my words to let it play out. And then here's where we are now, since we've seen 1 through 4 at this point, and it's like, here's where we are. I'm sorry.
Oh, we watch everything with Disney glasses. I'd say yes and no. We're dealing with the fact that Disney sucks, and it's been sucking for a good minute.
She's quoting me, I think, where I'm like, because she's not right now. This is underneath episode 2, and I'm like, yo, if you like this shit, then you're okay. It's like you see things with Disney glasses instead of like what's in front of your
Disney
eyes.
bully. Well, the next thing is typical Disney bully. No, they are arcs. Is that what it says? Arcs or Aries?
Aries is kids, so Aries is kids, right? We
Greek
knew
god
that.
of war.
We knew that as we
Of
were
course,
watching.
they share traits with their father. Brutality, that makes sense in the
Yeah,
book.
but the way they're portrayed, I get that. They're the kids of Aries.
Some kids will learn mythology with the show, and I'm happy for it. I mean, it's cool.
Fine.
It's borrowing from Greek mythology, sure. If you want to sit down, leave your kid in front of this, and think they're gonna teach you Greek mythology, you're wrong. You're straight up wrong, ma'am. I don't mean to be rude, but they are being misdirected if that's what you think they're doing. I want you to be understanding that. If you think this is an educational thing for your kid, it's not. It's if you want to go down the literature of Greek mythology, this is throwing your kid away from the actual intellectual understanding of theology and mythology.
But I still think she's saying like a starter kit, not the whole mythology, but just a starter kit to get you interested into it. I think that's part of her point, which I'm like, I have no
Sure.
problem with. But I'm here for storytelling. I'm not going to dumb things down so that they understand who Hercules and Perseus and Poseidon are. Like, I'd rather them like get some nutrition from the content they're getting. And sorry, yes, I will say this about like Disney. If you're a Disney fan or not, I don't know, but I will say this about Disney. Disney has a poor reputation, at least lately. Maybe the earlier days were a lot better, but lately they have a poor reputation in regards to, in my opinion, putting healthy food out there for
Yeah.
kids. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
Like, what are we watching on Disney right now? Some kids chopping monsters' heads off that look like humans.
Well,
This is where Disney is today.
well, you can go that
It's
route,
not healthy for yeah.
you can go that
That's
route.
not good for kids. I mean, it's, simply put, that wasn't. If you were born in the mid '80s like I am, that wasn't part of our age. That stuff was left out. Why is this now thing for a kid?
Well, for me, like you can go to something like The Lion King, right? When Mufasa fucking dies, is Simba doing the fucking floss in the jungle? Like, yeah, but like it's like years later when he's growing up, right? And it's been years past. He was a little cub when his dad died, and this is years later where he's off on his own journey with fucking what's his name, Timon and Pumbaa, those motherfuckers. Okay, then he's doing songs and dances, but this kid is like a day later, like dancing in the woods when his fucking mom just died, man. Like I don't care what type of quote unquote mental thing he has going on. Like I don't know exactly how it works or how it's diagnosed, but like even with that, like come on, like your mom died. Like there's nothing. Sorry, there's no
He does
flossing
go
in the
back
woods.
into it though. He does go back into it though. And
Oh, for
cries
sure.
A little bit about his mom.
Oh, for sure. But the thing is, this isn't an actual kid. This kid is not an
Right.
actual kid. It's a character that's being written by writers, adult writers.
Right.
Right. So when you
Mhm.
see that, and I call it like a Disneyfication of something, that's what that is. They're taking memes and pop culture things and put it just infusing them in there when maybe it doesn't fit. Maybe if it was if it was before his mom died and he's just like in the library and he's like, oh, what are the cool kids doing? Like he's thinking to himself, like, okay, or I like this dance, I'm just dancing, and then someone pops up on him. He's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, oh shit, I was just reading this book, and it's like awkward humor. Okay, that fits. But when your mom just died, you saw her get, as far as he understands, like ripped to fucking like sparkles from this giant bowl thing. It's like should you be dancing in the woods like that? Does that make sense? Is that how kids react? I don't know. Maybe it's more. I don't know. But all right, let's just start speeding a little bit.
All right, I'm
faster
back.
through these things. All right, I'm moving on to the
Yeah.
next comment.
Yeah.
All right, she
I cut out
says
for just a second.
he or she says, "Sorry, I didn't want to be rude or dismiss your feelings." You don't have to worry about that. You just say your opinions. You don't have to worry
Yeah,
about my
right.
feelings ever.
And understand, ma'am, we can't hear your tone in your writing.
Yeah,
We get that you're writing a paragraph, you're being precise, but we don't know like your tone behind it, so don't worry
Yeah.
about that.
and this may be my bias or my projection, but I assume you're. I think you've said it, but it's still for me. I don't know you, so I'm just assuming you're a parent, and I'm not trying to be an asshole about any of this. I'm trying to be like, just give you my straight up opinion.
Just the simple idea of kind.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give my opinion about it. All right, sorry, I didn't want. Once again, I didn't want to be rude or dismiss your feelings. I don't have to worry about that. At least my writing here will help the channel with the YouTube algorithm. Not really worried about that either. It happened to me as well to have bias watching a show. Okay, well, I disagree with having bias. The only thing I have bias towards is what I consider quality, and that has nothing to do with narrative.
Bias.
Well, for me, it has nothing to do with narrative.
Hold on, I will always have bias on everything, and I'm okay with it because it's mine.
Well, true, but my bias has nothing to do with if it's about unicorns, gods, a home, anything.
Jesus is God. Jesus is the King. That's my bias, and I'm looking at mythology fairly, and I'm looking at Disney fairly too.
I'm just considering quality. That's all I care about is quality, and an audience not looking at a writer's not looking at the audience like they're dumbasses at all. Kids are not. There's a way to do this where you don't make the audience try to make them look stupid. But all right, here we go. Not saying if you like this that makes you stupid. I'm saying like it's too simple down.
Reader.
Okay. I'll read it.
I am just a book reader and attached to very book accurate adaptations. This is not a very book accurate adaptation if you're talking about mythology.
No, she's not talking about that. She's talking about there's a writer of a kid's book, right? And they adapted the show from that book. That's what she's talking about.
There is a Percy Jackson book.
I believe so. That someone wrote. That's mentioned somewhere here.
But how do you justify that? It's Percy Jackson. Even if it's a book, it's based on Perseus from Clash of Titans.
Sure, but there could be a kid's version of that.
I know, but
she finds legitimate.
But don't you go in the timeline and you go back to the original?
I mean,
and the original's what you would call the one to be accurate to.
Yeah, but if she's sharing this with her kids, then that's the version she wants to see, which I don't have a problem with. The problem for me is I'm not going to call it just good automatically because I don't know, it speaks to a particular type of person or whatever, or maybe an author you like or whatever like that. I will just say my personal honest opinion. And when I see a kid flossing after his mom died, I'm going to freak out. It is what it is.
Well, Well, I'll say this, ma'am. If you think your kid's old enough to see Clash of Titans from the 1970s, I recommend you show that to your kid too, so they know where this came from, and make sure they understand that's the original movie. Now it's based on written mythologies as well.
I don't know. I'll just say
So
that.
if
I
you
don't know.
want if you want book accurate, you go back in the timeline of history to the original story. But I get that's just one comment, so we can move forward on that.
Well, here she brings up the author of the books, right there.
Okay.
Rick Riordan. I don't know how to say his name. Riordan, a teacher, created this story as a as a uh, as a bedtime
Bed
story.
story.
As a bedtime
Okay.
story for his dyslexic and ADHD kid who had problems reading and studying but was interested in mythology. That's beautiful.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, it is.
wonderful. As far as the TV show goes, it like I will pose this question. Is there a
See,
better
this is all-
version of what you saw on the TV show? Is there a better regardless of books or whatever the fuck? Is there a better version of what you saw? For what do you say here? Neurodivergent kids, ADHD, dyslexic. Is there a better version? Okay. If there is
Alright,
in your mind, in your
read-
imagination, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for as far as quality
Read-
goes.
Read the next sentence.
So the hero is 12 and has ADHD. He's impulsive, easily distracted, not a perfect normal kid. He feels
I did
misunderstood.
not know that. I did not perceive that at all in this show.
This I didn't know. The ADHD, I didn't see that.
I wasn't picking that up. I wasn't picking that up in any
Yeah.
sense. I'm not sure it's there. It could be.
He's
Like I didn't see
you can get the
kid
sense
get
he's a little
distracted.
scattered. You can get the sense he's a little scattered, but like
I'd be scattered too if that stuff was happening though. So I don't pick up the ADHD aspect to it.
well, I would appreciate something to where it's like to me seen as like, oh, this is like something you experience as a part of you. This is like a superpower for you. It's not harmful for like the world. Like you're not a villain because you have ADHD.
He's isolated when he's in school. And I get like that's part of like the feeling as a 12-year-old young boy would have, and if he had something going on like ADHD. I did not see actual ADHD though.
Yeah, there was no. I don't think there was an open like quote unquote diagnosis of the thing. But to say the thing is, there isn't many books with that. Okay, maybe there aren't many books like that. I don't read that many books. I watch more of like stories, concepts, more music and shit like that. Well, guess what? What do you think The Wall is by Pink Floyd? Like, what do you think is being talked about there?
Your mom.
Maybe they don't say ADHD, but guess what they're talking about? Like,
Your
come
mom.
on. Haha, goes, haha. But it's like, what do you think they're talking about? "Quote unquote" ab.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's whatever.
You're good.
Either people
Join
accept it
in
or
if
they
you
don't. It is what it is. But yeah, what do you think these weirdos who make artwork are about? Maybe this guy went through Rick Riordan. Maybe he goes through something besides from being a teacher, but himself personally. Guess what? There are artists out there who go through these things, and they write songs and they write stories and they write all these things about this stuff. But they don't. I don't know. They don't. Sorry, forgive me once again. I don't know the guy's book, but the TV show at the very least, like Pink Floyd is not going to Disneyfy their content. Meanwhile, going through something similar, even before there was
What's
even the
that book?
diagnosis of it.
Um,
A show you haven't seen. I don't think you've seen.
Percy
What?
Jackson.
Percy Jackson and
Oh.
the Olympians on Disney Plus.
And
No, I
this
have not.
Okay.
and this lady that watch the reviews is responding, and he's just addressing what she's saying.
Just because it's easier than, like, if I had to type all this out as a response. Like, I get scattered, to be honest with you. Personally, I get scattered. It's just like a giant
And
paragraph in front
she
of me.
wrote a lot. She wrote a lot.
Yeah, this is not even the other video. But she's not being an asshole. She's just, like, saying her perspective.
She's breaking it down.
Yeah, she's saying her perspective, and I'm like, oh, I like this. I just suck at typing back with that many words happening. I'd rather just, like, say it out loud. I don't know. It wasn't created to be a Disney show or to appeal to all kids or teenagers or grown-ups. It's a healing tool for neurodivergent kids to make them learn real things, mythology, architecture,
That's a lot of faith in Disney. That's a lot of faith in Disney.
Yeah.
I would not let that be how I think about Disney. I would want to protect my kids from Disney, because I don't think that's what Disney does is never healing.
Well, that's too much of a statement.
In general,
that's your opinion.
In
Okay,
general.
For me, that's too much of a statement. Like, real artists are going to get through, even if it's Disney or whatever company or whatever. But, like, come on, to think that the giant corporate mouse has some sort of interest over, like, a real interest in your kids, like that. That'd be hard for me to believe. That would be hard for me to believe that they're into kids to that degree. Like we just watched Echo, right? Echo I think is Marvel Disney Plus content.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a girl who's deaf. She's an amputee. She's a minority, and she's a she, right? Maybe even gay. I don't know.
Native American too. You say that one?
Well, minority, right?
Okay.
I think she's half Spanish, half Latina, and half Native American.
Okay.
Something like that. But to think that they pulled that shit out and put it on their main thing was for the reason of, I don't know, education or something. Like, no, we know, like, it's a lot of it's about diversity. Let's be honest.
It's politics, yeah, and it's my way or the high. It's look at things the way we want you to look at things.
Yeah, I'd rather see unique perspective. I think that is the diversity we need, which is unique perspectives. The problem is that I think people get caught up in, like, we were just watching Nerdrotic, like, people like that, to where it's like it's only about her identity qualifications or her lack of them, right? Instead of, like, well, is this a good story? And it's like, for me, if it's a great story, it doesn't matter what they look like, sound like, act like, on and so forth. But if
Your first priority of telling a story is to tell a story. If you can't do that, you don't have a story.
Exactly.
It's that simple. And that's what Hollywood in general, including Disney, for the last 10 years, it feels like, has forgotten entirely. Like, yeah, they've always had politics and all their leanings of some sort, but they've entirely put the story on the back burner of what they've been putting out, what they call movies, for the last 10 years.
There's, for me, far and few between that are actually excellent works of art. And some are for kids. Like I said about the Spider-Man movie, I enjoyed the crap out of that thing. I thought it was legitimate. I thought it was good storytelling, and it wasn't, treating children like they're dumb. Because kids are not dumb. Kids are not dumb. I need that to be understood. Children are not dumb people. They're just younger. They're just learning things, but they're not dumb at all. Which is why we don't need to put dumb shit in front of them. That's just my opinion. God, sorry.
So, if someone does have ADHD,
mm-hmm.
one of the things that would really help someone with ADHD, not Adderall, if you told them a complete thought. And what do we consider a complete thought? Something that illustrates a picture that's put together and it's like logical and it walks you through and tells you the way to get to something and what we call a story, a competent story. That's how we understand like logic is walk me through it. Tell me what is occurring. Get me there. And if
Well,
you want to put all this extra crap in there that doesn't make sense just for your twisted politics and you forget to tell me the main point of the story, then you've actually messed with me more. And if I have ADHD, which means attention deficit hyper disorder, meaning I can't pay attention to things real well, you're
yeah.
throwing me off
Okay.
and I'll never understand the actual logical walkthrough of a story, which would
Okay.
be defeatist in the point of making the story.
Wait,
Well,
So it's an insult. It's an insult to you, actually.
yeah, well, it could be. Well, I think that happens with normal people all the time, where there's kind of a quiet narrative that's kind of insulting to the person watching it, but they don't realize it's insulting. But
Well,
that's not
see,
where I'm going here. Like,
no, what I'm going off of is this whole paragraph of what she just told us. Like this is about ADHD, and it's about how this kid's falling out. But you're throwing crap in there. There's actual crap in this Disney story,
100%
and you're
agree.
just and you're distracting me from the actual logical walkthrough of understanding a magnificent story that could be done very well.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you're actually insulting the viewer about ADHD.
Possibly. And I get what you're saying with that. To where, well, the only way to make, okay, let's look at it in like a normal social sense. Like someone comes to the company, I have this great script or this great story, and it's meant to help with kids with ADHD. And then Disney's like, oh, okay, let's read it. They read into it, they're like, this is not bad, but the kids won't like it unless we add this, and this. And then the kids will like it to then we can then spread awareness about ADHD or what you call it, neurodivergent kids. Like then we can spread the message of that. We need to add some flossing in here, some this, some that, a teen drama, a love interest, on and so forth. We need to add all these elements in here in order to get attention on ADHD, which ends up getting lost because people are focused on the teen drama and the whatever the comedic things and the like. That's what ends up taking over the story to where, man. I hope that
So,
where I'm going makes
so,
sense.
so
Yeah.
what you're saying is Disney's actually causing ADHD.
Well, I don't know about that, but I think they feel the need to focus on certain things in order to get. Let's say it's an altruistic reason for why they're making content the way they're making it. Well, guess what? Most people won't learn about those topics, and they'll skip over them and only learn about. They'll only giggle at the kid flossing in the woods, or the mean bully, or the dramatic CGI, or whatever. Like that ends up taking over, engulfing the story rather than the subtext that you were looking for in the first place. There's better versions of these things. To me, like something like The Last Mimsy would be a better version of that, right?
I don't know that one.
I believe the kid is diagnosed as ADHD or dyslexia, something like that, right? But the kid's actually special, but it's actually part of his like power, his superpower in a way, which is what I would consider it.
Okay.
Maybe that's just my theory of things, and that'd be my bias. It's where I don't look at it as something to be down about. I think like, oh, you're different. That makes you like kind of special, and I think it's something you could look into and become special. Like you can learn through it in a way. You can express it in certain ways, so where there's no judgment about it. You're just expressing something about yourself, and it's not, it's some sort of disorder. Like I don't look at it as a disorder like that. You good?
Could it be saying that being based on it? It sounds like you guys didn't notice that as a emphasized theme, or didn't notice the
No.
and so
They could be saying it as a positive in the show for sure. Good.
right, like if it's not even, maybe people just know that from the character, and if it's not that noticeable, it just it comes up in different ways for people, right? So it
I
might be
entirely,
intentionally subtle. I don't know.
No, I see it,
miss
but
the
it's
ADHD aspect in this. You see it somewhat.
well the kid like this has been a thing I've seen in several different things where you see something like dyslexia, right? They'd portray that in a TV show, and meanwhile it's like, oh, it's the hero seeing the world underneath the world, which is what Percy's going through in the show, right? He sees the world underneath the show, but I guess in our quote unquote real world, if a kid would say, "Oh no, I just saw a dragon. The dragon did this," they'd be like, "Oh, he's schizophrenic." Got it. Like they would do something like that. Like there is that. It's there. It's there.
I thought
But
dyslexia
quality.
was you can't read right. I thought dyslexia was you can't read right.
Yeah, you see things backwards, right, or mirrored. I think you see the letters backwards and all that shit.
So, like the idea of him seeing the monsters when no one else can, they're saying that's like dyslexia?
I think it played a role in. He was reading a book in the show, I believe, and he was seeing the words in a weird way, but really it was him seeing the magical world underneath the quote unquote real world.
Okay,
You might have missed it. I could be thinking of something else, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened in this show.
Okay,
Uh,
that's fair. That's fair.
yeah.
I admit it went over my head, I guess.
Okay. Well, there's that element without. When I bring up the last Mimsy, they don't need to pop culture reference me to fucking death to get me to enjoy those elements, like a Disney show might do, like a Disney Plus show might do. That's what I'm saying. Like, sure, you can pick up on it, but guess what? It might be oversaturated with pop culture references and teen dramas to where it's just, essentially like we need to copy other typical TV shows in order to get people to watch it in the first place. Thus, the message that you cared about in the first place is getting walked over by those elements. And it's like that's what seems to happen a lot with these things.
A sentence you didn't read that she wrote: he feels misunderstood and that something is wrong with his brain. There isn't many book with that approach. Okay, so yeah, he did present that. He did feel misunderstood, isolated.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with his brain. He was seeing the other world, and he felt like, no, I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, I must be crazy. Yeah, it was.
I get that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But yeah, I do respect the idea. Like, please, a kid and their parents enjoying a TV show together. Why would I ever be upset about that? I would never be upset about that. That's cool to me. The problem is, I want them to see more quality, man. Like, I'm sorry. There's like nothing you could say to me that will make me change my mind on that. I think there is a better version of what what I think you think you're seeing. I think there's a better version of that.
Is that the little Mimsy thing?
And it's easy. Well, no, not even the last Mimsy, or Billy, or a Millions, or like kid things that have a little bit of an edge to them. Not even that. I'm saying like the very thing we've been watching with this show, right? Toward there's like a brightness to it. Even that, I'm like, yo, there is a better version of that. And it's like, there's no way I can hear someone denying that. There's no way, man. Like, it wouldn't make sense to my ears. Like, there's a better version of that, both subtextually of the concepts you want in there, and also on the surface of directing, acting, writing, like, all that shit. There's better versions of this. I'm not gonna harp too hard on the acting because
what is that? What is that movie back in the 80s? The Never-Ending Story, right? Is that the one with the guy flying on
the
the
giant
dog?
yeah, thing, yeah.
That's a better story like this. If you think about it for a second.
I haven't seen it in so long. I can't tell you honestly.
Well, it's the kid is alone and he's a hero that fights on, and it's all in his imagination. The whole world's in his imagination. And he goes through these trials, and at the end he's the hero that saves the day, and then he goes back to the real world.
Okay.
Like this is that story. The Never-Ending Story is just better in that sense. This hasn't ended yet, so it could turn around. But right now, it looks like it's the Never-Ending Story. But the Never-Ending Story was a lot better.
I don't remember that enough to say. I can remember my feelings as a kid watching it, but I can't say quality-wise. I mean, I don't know. If I thought it was quality, I'd probably be holding up to it as an adult. You did. I didn't. Maybe we had different opinions. I don't know.
Well, I'm the same way. I can't remember most of it, but I remember like the outline of the arc.
Yeah. Let's see. So you want Disney to change the characters and the story from a worldwide famous book just to be fun, like the movie Spider. No, the reason why I praise Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, it wasn't the fun factor. Yes, the animation was awesome, but there's definitely like teeny bopper trying to attract teenagers to a little bit younger than teenagers. Like, you could tell they're trying to attract those guys. Certain pop music and themes and shit like that and teen drama shit that's in there. But then there's a certain point where it's like, this is like storytelling. To where they're referencing something that they did earlier in the movie and making it land later in the movie to where you can now connect it, and there's a bridge from beginning of movie to end of movie. There's a whole story happening. They tie together. They full on tie together. I'm like, wow. Along with other interesting concepts of, kind of sci-fi concepts and shit like that. But, that's... my thing wasn't like, oh, it's just funner. Like, I don't watch movies that way, bro. I don't. If you watch more of our videos, you'll find out. Like, pizzazz will not trick me into just liking a movie because there's fireworks.
It'll trick me. I like fireworks. Let's watch Transformers after this.
Shut up. But yeah, I will point out if I see Percy, if I'm watching the Percy Jackson show, I will point out it's like, oh, okay, maybe they didn't get a budget for this. That's why the CGI looks bad. I'll point it out, but that's not my determining factor of why something's good or bad ever in any project ever. It's nothing to do with
rocks will entertain me. Let's watch Yellowstone.
Whatever. Regardless, it's not about a fun factor. I don't need a roller coaster ride every movie I watch. Or TV show. It's like I look for the subtext, the quiet concepts. That's what I look for. It's just, do I think there's better execution? Of course I do. And I'm gonna say it. It is what it is. Okay, I guess this is more about Greek mythology. These kids are of the god. These are kids of the god of war, and yet they're acting the exact same as the bully in all these other kid
Hold on.
shows and movies.
Let me
Shouldn't they be
correct.
special or act special? That was my comment that she's replying to. Good.
Let me correct that though. They're not the kids of war. They're the kids of Athena and Poseidon. Who's the kid of Ares?
No, the bullies at the camp when Percy first shows up.
Okay.
The-
I missed that one episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like 3 kids that bully him, and they're the children of Ares.
Okay.
And this was my response to it. These kids are like, right, kids of the god of war. Shouldn't they be, instead of like the way they portray these guys, which is just like a typical bully, all right, from a typical movie. Instead of that, that's what they're portrayed as. Instead of like, shouldn't they be something special because they're the kids of the god of war? So even the way they behave should be different than a bully you see on Fox 5 on Sunday nights or something.
Are they straight up god kids or are they demigod kids like their mother was a human?
I thought they were all demigod. It's like a demigod,
Okay.
demigod camp or whatever, right?
Okay.
I figured that. Yeah.
That's just me being clueless to that episode.
Okay. Do you know about? Okay, she's getting a little cheeky here. Do you know a little about mythology or Greek gods? I've heard of Ares. Are gods special in
gods-
Greek mythology? Yeah.
Are they
Are they more-
morally superior?
No,
Spoiler.
it has nothing to do with morality. It's about there's like a you can portray a character with a particular vibe or style towards like this is not your typical bully. This is the fucking daughter of Ares. This is the son of Ares. This is special.
In
I
Greek
want
mythology-
creators to reach towards that. Otherwise, we're just going to get the same old bully and everything. And thus, how are your kids going to notice the difference between Ares' children, the bullies, versus Spike from Little Giants or whatever the bully's name is? How you going to tell the difference? What like they should be special, I think, right? They should act special, like they're privileged almost, like special. But maybe it's the actors and they wrote it a certain way and the actors couldn't portray it that well. But I don't know. Moving on. In Greek mythology, gods have flaws and are not okay. I understand that.
Well, who's Clarice? Is that the
That's
girl
the
that's
bully.
the child of...
That's the bully.
Okay.
It's a daughter of Ares.
Okay.
Once again, she has a story, but it'll be important later on. Once again, we haven't got there yet. I dare Disney to tell me that.
I'm not gonna predict Disney.
Yeah,
Like
I hope they do. I hope they show us.
9 out of 10 times, what Disney does is like everybody looks at Game of Thrones now and say, "How do I divert the audience?" Like we know what they're expecting,
Yeah.
so now it's like, how do we just throw them off or like just shock and awe, just complete shock and awe?
Yeah.
Okay.
By
What's
way,
the next part?
I didn't know there's this many reactions to Percy Jackson, but I guess there are. All right. I just want to add that Percy believed his mom was dead and was still in the woods doing a flossing dance. I think we both would agree that a child losing their parent. This is my statement. She says, "How many days should he sulk for you to be comfortable? He's a 12-year-old kid with ADHD." Hey, okay.
More than a week.
And I don't think it was that long while he was there, and there is no time frame. It's dude. He's the night his mom dies is the night he has the most questions. Thus, he's gonna have the most questions, right? Even someone with ADHD, they're gonna have probably even more questions because, right? He's just being introduced to this magical world. Then his mom dies to that magical world, like a magical creature or beast or whatever, or demon or whatever the fuck it is from that magical world. It's like he has to have questions out the ass to where, yes, ADHD would probably be obsessed with finding out, like, just be question on top of questions on top of questions of trying to figure out, like, what the fuck just happened. I'm just finding out about magic. I'm just finding out about magic, and my mom dies that same night to some magical thing, and now I'm in a magical camp,
A
why would you
giant
start
bull
dancing around
in
and shit like
underwear.
that? Like,
A
come on.
giant bull in underwear.
Yeah. He finds out his whole life is that, actually. Like, his best friend was also a magical person. Like,
Yeah.
so there is no time there, in my opinion, the way I would write it, is like there is no time to relax, and like he needs to goof off and be a goofball. Like, no, like it would be darker and sadder, but maybe more grounded. Maybe that make the peaks, the heights, the happy moments that much more happy. But maybe for me, at least, they might get staled out by someone doing some sort of pop culture dance. Right? If he's so different and awkward and compared to the normal world, why isn't he Why isn't he like that? Why would he do the popular kids dance? Why would he do that?
All right.
Maybe he listens to rock music instead of, you know, what do you listen to? K-pop. I don't know what the fuck these kids listen to today. Whatever. By the way, guaranteed she is British. I see, Mum, you're British. You're 100% British. 100% British. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but that's hilarious.
Typo. That's the only excuse. Typo.
You want to write a good ADHD character better than Rick Riordan and express it in a movie? I'd love to. Give me a budget, I'll do it. I will gladly do it. But yeah, writing's not my thing, to be honest with you.
All right. Let's finish this out. The kid's devastated he didn't forget his mom during the episode. The first thing he says, walking,
waking.
asking about his mom. First thing he does when
Unpacking is looking at the blue candles given by his mom. Okay.
The offensive scene, he speaks to his mom.
Let me read it because you're not reading it correctly because you can't see it, I don't think. I will read it. The offering scene, he speaks to his mom instead of asking anything for him. He, Poseidon, doesn't have the right of ignoring you. Okay, that's a quote. I will make him see both of us. Blah, blah. He refuses the quest. I'm Sally Jackson's son, implying not Poseidon's, who didn't risk his life and raise him. Fair enough. He accepts the quest only because he has hopes to save his mother. Okay. But, like, okay, I understand that. But, okay, you can have scenes that are supposed to be for fun, but he should be in the mode of where something like awkward humor happens as opposed to him like yada yada da, fa la 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 in the fucking woods. I'm at God camp or demigod camp and yada yada yada, like that. I don't know. I think it's a tone killer for what you gave us. Him when he killed the fucking animal, the giant bull thing. When he killed that thing, it was like there was a tone to it that I thought was okay. It has like a darker tone. It's dark and rainy, and there's thunder and lightning and rain and all that shit. I'm like, okay, there's like a tone to it, especially because his mom died, and then it's just like teen drama. That's his mom dying is kind of thrown out the window. Yes, they say it in words, but did they say it in tone? Little parts here and there, like when he has to go on his quest, he feels that you can feel that tone again. But for the most part, no. It's just more bullies and him figuring out his powers and the new girl he might like, maybe he doesn't. The Athena's daughter, the black girl, I forgot her name. Like more of that shit and him dancing in the woods for some reason. Like come on.
I think you need to talk to this lady.
I don't want to talk to anyone, bro. I just want to fucking just make content and keep it moving. All right, let's just skip to the last comments and keep it.
I'm saying you should invite her.
If she actually watches this, I doubt that happens, but if she does watch this, oh yeah, I'll invite her. If she has a fair warning.
Yeah,
Actually,
I'm
for this
being
channel, I'd
being
probably make it
really
into Discord.
nice. I am being really nice. I'm usually a mean person,
For this
but
particular YouTube channel,
I don't know you, so I'm being as kind as I can possibly be.
fair enough. For
Once I
this,
know you, I'm pretty mean.
for this particular
I'd say
YouTube
I'd
channel,
say Jordan's kind of fair.
what happened?
I'd say Jordan's kind of fair.
I'm a hater, bro. But for this particular YouTube channel, I might have just like a separate Discord that's just for like just the movie stuff. Like, because if you go to my fucking slaughterhouse of a Discord and you talk to the wrong person, it's like it is what it is. Like I'm like, but I like it is what it is. But I'm not trying to like just like put someone there. I'd rather them like if they're just in the film, I'd rather them just enjoy film. I mean, I'm still gonna grill people on things, even in the film world, but you know, I'd rather like if it's like a sweetheart mom who's just looking after like I don't want them getting fucking clotheslined by someone in here.
Riker.
I don't want that shit to happen. Like
You
I'd
mean
feel like
me?
an ass,
So
bro.
me when we're talking.
Well, anyone. Anymore, it's more of the content. Like Striker, it's like, hey, who are you? Like, don't talk. Like, stay away from him. You know, I'll just end on this. I think we said enough, and we just have differing opinions, and I want to get into the next episode, so I'll just read
But
this. Good.
which of which episode was she responding for all of this?
This
Episode 2?
one's episode 4. This last comment I'm gonna read here, or some of this comments I'm gonna read here. This other shit was episode 2. All episode 2.
That's what I was like. I was missing a lot of it.
It applies to 1 and 2 when she's responding on her number 2. It responds to episode 1 and 2, and responding to episode 4 applies to all the episodes. So
okay.
All right, let me just read this quote from the book writer Rick Riordan. It's almost my name. Watch the show or don't. That's your call, but this will be an adaptation that I am proud of, in which fully honors the spirit of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, taking the bedtime story I told my son 20 years ago to make him feel better about being neurodivergent and improving on it, so that kids all over the world can continue to see themselves as heroes at Camp Half-Blood. I understand, but at the same time, like I'm like, oh, you sweetheart, man. Like, like, dude. Let me tell you something, man. There's marketing teams. There's like these things exist, bro. If someone took my book, like, I'm not trying to say it's all about money, right? Like, I don't know this guy. I don't know the Rick Riordan guy at all. But to tell me, like, what would you expect him to say? Would you expect him to go up there and just be like, they poorly adapted my book. It's a piece of crap, and like come on, like, no, your work. Something you've worked on is getting turned into a Disney show. I doubt he's going to insult it at all. And then there's the money aspect. There's all these things, like there's marketing, like it could hurt your own book. Like those factors need to be considered. I'm sorry. I've seen too many, this is one where I can't bend on. I get it. And that dude can be being blatantly honest. That could be what he's actually saying, what he believes in, 100%. But to tell me, like, there can be artists working for any company, let alone Disney, that can be working for any of these companies and say, well, whatever makes the project look good. Whether it's peer pressure, whether it's financial pressure, whatever the reason is, they may not say the truth about the project they're working with or working on. Maybe it comes out years later. Maybe the fans turn on it and say, like, you know what, this show sucks. Well, it was never like my greatest thing ever. Like I didn't like it either. They just took my work, they stole it, they made it look bad, and yada yada yada. These things happen with major projects like this that are on Disney Plus, that are on in Warner Brothers. Please read Wikipedia, please. The films are very bad adaptations from 20th Century Fox, not Disney's. 20th Century Fox is now owned by Disney. So okay.
But she's saying it was before it was owned by Disney. Doesn't matter. This is Disney.
Oh well. Yeah, well, 20th Century Fox. If they own, I didn't even know that they own. If they owned the prior Percy Jacksons,
I think that's what she's saying.
yeah, like this doesn't make Disney's version good all of a sudden because Fox's version was bad. Like, that's not a good argument for that. I'm not in like this. I'm not in a crusade against Disney. It's just like they've done things that are so obvious. I don't know what to tell you. What do I tell you, man?
I'm going to crusade against Disney.
I'm not. I just take quality as quality is. What do you
is
want me to
that?
do with this?
What is that thing that's it's like symbolism put in your eye like less than half a second?
You mean subliminals?
Subliminal messages. Look up on YouTube subliminal messages
Okay.
for Disney.
I don't need that.
You will
I
never
can look at
let
quality
me
on its
watch
own.
Disney again.
I can look at quality. I can look at marketing. That's all I need. That's all I've ever needed with Disney
Right.
properties.
I'm just telling her you want to be honest with yourself. Look up what you put into the search bar is subliminal messages on Disney. You will never let me watch Disney again.
I don't know that, but I'll say this: there is quality to Disney. There is some quality to Disney's some of their projects, but to say there isn't like some weird thing looming over their works of art is crazy to me. Okay, let's end the comment version of this.
Yeah. Episode 4.
Whoever you are, a mom, a dad, a parent, whatever. If I had to guess, it's a British mom.
Mom.
A British mum.
A mum.
Mum.
A mum.
Hopefully she laughs at that. Or he, whoever it is. But yeah, I think we're seeing it like this line alone. If you want to watch a stupid action movie, go watch Aquaman, please. Like this is what I'm talking about. Do you understand? Like, I think you don't know me as a movie reviewer, as a critic, you don't see you don't see my eye when I'm watching these things. You're not seeing it, which is understandable, right? I'm a stranger to you. I'm just some guy on YouTube talking shit. But if you really saw it, you'd see. I'd be like, I am looking out for the subtext. That's to me the most important thing is the underlying message of a movie. Well, not the most important, but the thing I look for first. If that's not there, I usually just walk away. I'm like, oh, boring. Unless it's enough of a stupid action like Aquaman towards or enough of a pop culture phenomenon like Aquaman to where oh, I feel the need to review this to talk about it because other people are going to watch it, or it'll make me laugh at how stupid it is. Like
mine's simple. Is there a plot? Do we have a complete story here? And if you give me a complete story, that's a start.
All right, I actually have to say this. All right, here we go. Percy Jackson, Season 1, Episode 5.
I can't let anything stop me.
It's time!
Look, I'm sorry about shoving you in the stairwell. Even hearing myself say that sounds really bad, but I knew you'd never agree, and there wasn't enough time.
Oh, your future girlfriend. This is a teen drama.
Sure.
Isn't that gonna make it hard for us to get on a train? Or a bus? Or really anything you need tickets for?
You're not walking.
I think this question
You're
harder
not
than
gonna
thought.
walk to California from
Louis.
St. Louis.
I've been thinking. I didn't steal the Master Bolt. You guys didn't steal the Master Bolt.
But that dumb
Pretty
bro.
sure Hades has the Master Bolt. But he couldn't have stolen it himself.
I'm sure they get into some sort of crazy adventure that will help them
Or
get
why?
there. Like
Or how
some
deep
sort of
this
magical
goes.
creature will help or something.
No, they're gonna turn 16 and can
I'm the
drive.
last person to realize this, aren't I?
Like, wait a minute, we're part gods. Let's just hijack a car and fucking take it.
Maybe.
Bro.
I asked if you could use some help.
It's Edge.
Nope.
It's fucking Edge, bro.
No, we're good.
Wrestler Edge, not you two.
You don't seem too
Holy, yo, what the fuck?
good. Behind
No wonder he quit the WWE.
You don't want to get speared, huh?
No, they're interested. He said something made sense.
Cousin?
Ares? Is he the son of Ares?
You must be Athena's kid.
Oh,
Always
he's
gotta be
Ares
the
himself.
wisest one of the bunch. There's no fear in you, is there? Doesn't matter. Whether the bolt's retrieved or not, Zeus is going to war with Poseidon. Chases.
I thought Ares was the brother of Zeus.
In reality, I think he's
No,
okay
he's
with
a
that. I think
He's the uncle. He's the uncle of Zeus.
So we're gonna
no,
have
he's
a
the
whole-
son of Zeus, but his mom.
Oh,
is
Hades.
also-
Hades is. Oh, Hades is the
Hades
uncle.
is no
We're
Hades,
completing this quest.
Zeus, and Poseidon are all three brothers.
Yeah, so he's.
You can help.
Oh no, my bad. I'm thinking of Hercules. My bad. I'm thinking of Hercules.
There.
He's
Okay.
There's an immune.
technically Hercules' uncle.
You
Yeah.
give me my shield back, and I'll get you to the
But
underworld
Ares
mine
is a god
lunch
because
tomorrow
both his parents
with
are
a plan
gods.
To invade Hades' palace. The chirping was funny to me for a minute, but it is getting old.
Spear her.
So
Spear
we have
her.
a deal, or am I killing all three of you so I
Get
can
a chair.
in peace?
Get the ladder, Edge.
One catch. I really do need that shield back, so I'm gonna keep the satyr here as collateral so you don't run off.
What? No. Okay.
Hephaestus wanted to know anytime one of us came poking around his playground. I guess now he knows.
You sure he has Ares' shield?
There's something cool about overwhelming force and a quick surrender.
No one talks about those anymore.
This is weird.
They should.
Overwhelming force and a quick surrender.
So tell me where we met again.
This is inappropriate. That's why it's weird.
I think you should spear him. That's what I think.
Ares has always had a thing with
Aphrodite. She's Hephaestus' wife. Oh, you're kidding.
Don't
They're
you
all right up
tell me not
above.
to be weird about this.
I didn't say anything.
I can feel you thinking it. This must be where Ares and Aphrodite got caught. The shield must be in there.
Teen drama.
We just gotta go get it.
So are we gonna meet Aphrodite?
Meet her and then unmeet
She's
her
gonna-
within
the
10
screen's
minutes.
gonna go completely black so that we don't see love.
Or we meet her and then she's done with after 5 minutes.
She's gonna be butt
What?
naked
What
on
is this?
Disney.
What is happening right now?
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like I've heard this before. You think
Saturday Night Live.
from our orthodontist's office, maybe?
The
Wait, I know this. It's Hephaestus' story.
Maybe she was.
For some reason, I think this is the coolest part of the show
When you
so
got to
far.
us, you be different than this.
It's a semblance of artistry. They told the story while telling a story.
Hepatitis is a craftsman. There's just two craftsmen in the god world.
Hepatitis? I think hepatitis is more of a destroyer than a builder.
There's the shield.
How are we supposed to get that thing down?
Yeah,
Sit in the chair.
there's gotta be a riddle for this or something.
These things are connected somehow.
If they touch the chair, it's gonna fuck things
It's a
up.
machine, but how do you start the machine?
You sit in the chair.
We both know your friend didn't steal the bolt.
Yeah. But Zeus thinks he did. Which is kind of all that matters, right?
Shut up.
Jesus.
It was a gift
The betrayer.
with a hidden purpose. Hephaestus offered it to Hera. But as soon
But that looks
as
like
he
it's on
said
purpose. Like
she
he's trying
couldn't get
to,
up,
he's tricking Ares.
all the gods tried, but the
Right.
machine was too smart.
Didn't say that his betrayal had to be
It was too much,
genuine.
even
Yeah.
for her.
Just said he had to betray him.
Yeah.
When I was choosing my team, I told Chiron I needed someone who wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice me if the quest required it. He agreed. That was-
Wow. This kind of scared
You were right.
nerd has evolved to sacrificial
I
hero.
can't believe it, but the fates were right.
Sorry, it bothers
There's no getting
me.
around this.
Like,
Nothing you can
give
dodge.
him a more development worthy of this
The
moment.
gods chose stop. It isn't about that.
What could it possibly be about if it isn't about that?
They kind of developed it. And being the sacrificial hero.
You know, him having the courage and bravery to be like that type of person.
You're right, not the bravery to do it, but the outline of him
I need
doing
you to
it.
promise me something.
Sure.
I'm not leaving the underworld without your mom.
Thank you.
Yeah, just don't cut yourself on it, because bad things happen.
Oh, you just turned to gold.
This is a bad idea. Stand up.
I can't.
Percy, stand up. I mean
It's
it.
okay.
I'm okay. Okay, no, I'm not. Help! Get me out of.
The gold goes into his eyeballs.
He's made of gold and de-aged by 5 years. Someone watching her or something?
Yep.
Oh,
Can I help you? It can't be undone.
How do you know?
Because I built it.
what the fuck is that?
Hepatitis?
I'm not leaving here.
I knew that. I'm like trying to see who the actor
And
is.
if you aren't going to help me, Zeus is that way. My mother is that way. He isn't that way. He's better than that.
Was that him? He played a musical note? Right?
It's not over yet. If that did it. You're right. Fuck.
Oh, it's over already. He's safe. What the? Okay. So you get the shield and he doesn't have to be trapped there.
You made the sacrifice. That's all that's required.
Bro. You see how that takes the weight away from it? There's no weight to it now. See how that meant like nothing to me now? Am I
Right,
tripping?
it wasn't even. They didn't even cut to a next scene and come back to it. It was all at once.
See how I say like kids have the intelligence to handle tension, and you just threw it all away?
Was I right? Thank you for the emotional abuse.
Spear him
and
now.
the cheeseburgers.
Suplex.
And the ride. We're gonna take you up on that.
One of Athena's kids that don't get noticed. Something like that. That's what they were talking about.
Listen, I get it. A kid show. They're learning names of Greek gods, but to have it relate to their world, I don't think is being actually applied. I think actually Edge playing Ares was a little bit more of drawing like here's like a modernized to where you can relate to it audience version of Ares, where he's cheering for fights on Twitter and shit like that. Like, oh, God of War, he wants to see some form of like combat or something, whether in words or in actual combat, right? Even referenced World War II in the Spielberg movie. Spielberg movie, sure. But for the most part, I don't get like like you can. It's just a bunch of name references rather than substance. That's what I meant by the kids. The kids at the camp that were Ares' kids, right? And they were bullying Percy. It's like have substance to where there's some sort of God of War style cunning, even though they're younger versions, so they're more immature and more reckless with it. But they're more cunning than your average bully from a '90s sitcom. You know, same with, and then there's storyline things like him like, okay, I'm sacrificing myself to stay in this golden chair. Now that wasn't a test. You said like, oh, he sacrificed himself, so that's like what he's supposed to do. But that wasn't the case, right? Otherwise, he would have let him go. Like, oh, you passed the test, I'll let you go. Take the shield and go on your merry way. That wasn't the case. What's her name? Annabeth or something like that? She had to convince the dude. She had to convince Hepatitis to fucking
I think
to let him go.
I think there's a deeper message. If you sleep
What's
with
that?
Aphrodite, you're gonna get hepatitis,
Got it.
and you're gonna be stuck in a chair.
I don't think that's how it spreads, but sure, we'll go with that. But to have him do this sacrifice with the music playing and the emotional moment, and they're kind of implying like they have some sort of liking to each other, like a crush or something on each other. They imply that, and then oh, he
And they
sacrificed
were
himself.
heartfelt.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, this moment where this guy. For me, I would have like built up him as being kind of a lot more aloof, to where this would be the moment where he's like actually the hero, which is to make sure, like, because of like love being the driver, he's like, I'll sacrifice myself to protect
Hold
this
on.
girl. What?
You know what? You remember what she was saying is like Percy Jackson's different. He doesn't want to be about power
Yeah,
and backstabbing and betrayal and fighting.
yeah,
What's the first thing Percy Jackson does when he gets out there in front of Ares? You better shut up or I'm gonna fight you.
yeah, basically. But they already implied Ares as being an asshole, so they're like, you know what? No one will mind this, even though it's openly contradictory and hypocritical.
Right.
But for me, the main thing was that sacrifice that they washed away in 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. You just had a conversation with him, like, oh, that's all you needed. Now you can just get free, and now he's good. So he did. So there was no weight to the sacrifice. He didn't actually sacrifice himself because a simple conversation gets him out of it. It wasn't like, this is guaranteed. You are fucked. You are stuck in this fucking chair. Nothing you can do about it. Not even hepatitis' magic can get him out. It's like it's binded that way. Not that. Not some sort of big tension building thing. It's just, well, he's in the chair. Up, he's out of the chair. Next.
He blew a flute and he was released.
Yeah, he played a melody and you're out. Like, god dang, man. Like, that's not beyond children either. The idea of building tension is not beyond kids. So to give it tension and then take it away immediately is, come on. I don't care what neurodivergent thing or whatever the fuck you have.
No, but it is training for kids. It's
training what?
do what I tell you, and it'll be tough for right now, but you'll be instantly relieved.
Yeah, you get instant gratification instead of delayed gratification, which is one of the most important disciplines to learn. If your kid has, I keep going back to the mom from the comments of like,
it's
ADHD. Yeah. It's like, well, what if there's more of a sense of delayed gratification, but it's like worth it in the kid's mind? Maybe that can get their attention on something that's worth following, that's worth following through with, even if there is downfalls to it. It's worth seeking out. It's worth paying attention to. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there isn't as much of a quote unquote disorder as we may think. I'm not going to say I'm an expert or know anything to that degree, but why has it been tried? Are we trying these things out? Who knows? Go ahead, man.
I think someone is thinking about this ADHD aspect of this will be like, sure, that was a mini puzzle, but you need to focus back on the big picture. And this trip to Santa Monica is the big picture. So it's like all these crazy little steps in your way, but you just keep going forward. So you're addressing the ADHD thing, like, yeah, all this extra stuff is there, but as long as you have the big picture, you're getting a good message out of it.
Sure, but the for me, what the it look the concepts that they seem to be going towards as far as typical storytelling or of a hero's journey storytelling, it's like those are the big moments, those things right in front of him, confronting Medusa, sacrificing himself for this, learning more about himself from tragedy, from the fall, right? The fall from the arches in St. Louis, or the arch, whatever it is. Like those are like rites of passage to where those are actually the big deal, and the getting to Santa Monica is like kind of just like something that happens as an end result from you going through this hero's journey, and then by the time you get there, you built up all the caliber. You built up the caliber of being a hero at that point because you went through the rites of passage already.
But it's a checklist. He's doing it. It's just like a video game.
But they're
1, 2,
skipping
3,
through it.
do it, 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 do it.
Pump it till it hurts. Like that's not. I don't care like what's going on in a person's mind. Like, there's no true savoriness,
There's
true
no depth
nutrition.
to it.
Well, there won't be true nutrition without an actual journey there.
Right.
It needs to be the journey. The journey has to be there, and it feels like it's getting skipped out on. For the I don't know what for expediency. Maybe they're running out of episodes. I don't know.
I think he's gonna have to give up a finger or something. Like sacrifice a finger.
Yeah, but if
So
it's
it's
just
real.
like, all right, give up your finger. All right, finger gone. All right, here's the gift.
Or
Give up your
or
finger.
take a scar or
It's
something.
not satisfying,
And then that's you know what I'm saying? Like that's the way this is going. Like there's gonna have the last 2 episodes have been sacrifice.
Yeah.
What was before that? Was there constant sacrifice? The first episode is mom dies. That's sacrifice. Was there sacrifice in episode 2?
Was there? I know he fights the bullies and beats the shit out of them with no training, which I thought was interesting. No, it's just like he fights the Ares kids. All right, he beats the shit out of them. He has all these like wounds and shit, and he walks into water, and then I guess Poseidon's powers
3 was
heal
Medusa.
him.
3 was Medusa.
I think so. Yeah.
So what's sacrifice there? I mean, they're trials. All of this stuff's
They're
trials.
definitely trials, but it's like lame.
Just,
it's lame.
It's video game. Do it. Checklist.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Get to the next boss.
Yeah, basically. He's just playing Skyrim, basically. All right. There's our reaction to season 1, episode 5. 5? 5?
Game of Thrones.
Wait, I need to see what episode this is. This is 5, right? Yeah. Season 1, episode 5 of Percy Jackson. They could be doing better. They could be doing a lot better, but I'll continue to watch it because I started it. And I started recording already, so fuck it. I'll finish the fucking series out. But could be better.